Premier League is back this weekend, and we are going to be previewing the game against Moneybags this weekend at St James's Park.
Yeah, I know. What a great time to be playing them, eh? As soon as
so
they get any ownership.
Spursy. It's just so Spursy. Of course, we were going to play them the week after they get taken over, the first game of their new tenure.
They win this game, then go on another losing streak. That's probably what's going to happen. They're going to get all there on that high horse and everything, and then it's going to settle in, and then they're going to start losing again.
Literally.
Also, Steve Bruce's 1,000th game, all that kind of stuff as well. So it all plays into the hands of look. The story is that Newcastle are going to turn up this weekend and win the game. So we got to make sure we're up for that. For the battle.
we got to make sure that we're not playing by the script like we usually do.
Mm-hmm. Damn right.
So look, at the moment they're 12th in the league. They're 12th.
No, they're 19th.
They're 19th. Sorry, they're 19th without a win. We're 7th. Maximam is firing it in this season.
He's been brilliant.
I've been really impressed with him. As you can see, 3 assists and 2 goals for a team that haven't won this season. You know, quite impressive.
Yeah, and he's been the shining light, which he has been for a couple of years, and he always seems to be a massive threat when he's on the pitch. Say Maximam, his pace. I feel like he's just like a slightly better version of Lucas Moura. Like Lucas Moura with a bit better end product, basically. He's got electrifying pace. You can't stop him when he's in full flight. I said to a Newcastle fan, you know, when he's in full flight, you just got to hope he misses because you're not catching him. That's the only way to stop him.
Yeah, just to point out on the graphic before, that was where both teams finished. No, that can't have been when both teams finished last season. What's 12th
we
and
finished
7th?
7th last season.
All right, either way. How are you looking at this game, and how do you think it's going to kind of play out? Do you think it's going to be as hard as like people are saying?
It was where Newcastle finished last season.
What, they finished 12th?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Do I think it's going to be as hard as people say? I like to think no. With Newcastle, they like to play that 3 at the back system, which can make it very difficult. If they're going to play Maximam and Wilson up front, they could have them up there alone, and they could cause us a lot of trouble, even if they're very compact at the back. I also think that the players in the team, I think Lascelles might be coming back as well. I think a lot of the players will want to up their game in this one because they want to prove that they can be part of this project. That they don't want to be sold. They're good enough to be there. You know, there are players, for example, like for Man City. For example, like Nedum Anuaha and Micah Richards, who were there before the project, and then obviously they grew with the project themselves, and they were kind of semi-proof that just because the new money got injected into the team doesn't mean I have to be sold. And I think Newcastle will look at some of the players, or maybe look at those players and think, look, if I buck up my ideas and I really start performing, I could be part of this.
Do you think that's the same case with Micah Richards and Onanua, because like they were like young players from the academy coming through, and you know most of their squad did go at the end of the day at Man City. What did Newcastle
most of their
really
squad
have, like kind of young players, up and coming players coming through in there?
You know, players like Jamal Lewis.
Yeah.
He will probably think if I buck up my ideas, I can be part of this project. Like Fabian Schär, he's a decent player. John Joe Shelvey might think if I'm
I can't see
like
any
that.
of
Mate,
these.
he was touted for the England squad at one point.
I can see Jamal Lewis kind of maybe surviving, but I can't see the other two, John Joe or
John Joe Shelvey, Ryan Fraser.
Schär. Ryan Fraser's a good player to have in the squad, in my opinion.
Ryan Fraser was brilliant for Bournemouth. If he starts showing that kind of form, he could be part of the team. And we go Almiron, maybe Joe, like Willock. There's a lot of players there. There's a lot of players there who, if they will feel like because these examples, right, what I just gave, like Willock, Fraser, maybe the Longstar brothers, Shelvey, right, as up until now, there hasn't been too much pressure on them because yes, they could theoretically lose their place in the starting 11, but they know that they'll first of all they'll probably get it back sooner rather than later because their replacements are no good, and also their expectations of them are not very high because just to stay up and ready to stay up. If they win this game and play badly, if they lose this one game and play badly, they can win the next one and make up for it. But now there's real pressure on them. Now they're going to have all eyes on them about not just from the fans, but from the board. They know they're going to be watched like a hawk, because if they're not performing consistently well, they're going to be out. They're going to be sold. They're not going to be part of this big project that they're trying to put together. And I think that is a massive, massive element as to players having that pressure on them and them upping their game.
Yeah.
And showing a different level of performance. And that's why I'm worried about that starting on Sunday.
Yeah.
Because they know it has to start immediately. It can't start.
And it's not just that, but it's the whole crowd behind them as well. It's going to be an absolutely very crazy atmosphere for the Newcastle fans. They're all going to be in full voice. I know, don't really like to talk about cliches, but they really are going to be the 12th man on the weekend, with the whole city pretty much in kind of positive mood now, seeing as they've been trying to get Mike Ashley out for so long now.
Yeah.
It's finally happened. It's finally here. And not only have they got Mike Ashley out, but they've got the richest owners in world football right now. So, it's going to be a crazy atmosphere, isn't it? And it's something that we're going to have to work around. And you know how Spurs, how this team like to buckle under the pressure, or they do buckle under the pressure. Is that going to be a massive plus for them this weekend?
Well, that plus the players also being up for the battle, that to me all culminates in what's going to be a very, very difficult game. And we need to go out there and show that we also mean business. And the Villa performance wasn't just a one-off because we wanted to have a response to the North London derby. We need to show we're consistent with it. And that's going to be part of the challenge. And if we're not on top of our game, we have to treat it like this is a massive game. And if not, we could very easily be turned over, because they're going to outwork us. They're definitely going to outwork us on Sunday. I'm sure of it. The way things are culminating. So it's going to be very difficult. We need to quieten the crowd. We need to get an early goal. We need to shush them early. Otherwise, if the crowd start, getting behind the team and driving them on, it's going to be very, very difficult.
Yeah, and not only that, but Newcastle seem to be a bogey team of ours of late. Out of the last 4 games we've played against them, we've only won 1, drawn 2, lost 1 as well. Why do we always seem to be coming unstuck against Newcastle?
Yeah, I don't know. We've last 2 games, to be honest. The 2-2 at St James's Park, Willett got a late equaliser, and that was a game where, to be honest, they probably deserved the equaliser, but we were 2-1 up very late. On the 1-all when
it's
Wilson...
probably one of the better performances of the last season.
The 1-all when we drew, when Wilson got a last-minute penalty, we were brilliant that day. We were very unlucky. Yeah. Before that, we beat them 3-1 at St James's Park, and that was Mourinho's first ever win at St James's.
Yeah.
And before that, I think it was actually 1-0.
No, we lost 1-0, yeah.
With Joe Linton.
Yeah.
So they've kind of been a bit of a bogey side. They haven't beaten us too many times, or we haven't beaten them either. And it's just, I think, it's been a bit of luck either way, which has gone against us whenever we play Newcastle for some reason. They very much sit back and they frustrate us, and we haven't had the quality to break them down.
Mm. Yeah, which is the facts of the matter. Last year at the Tottenham Stadium, we were breaking them down time and time again. We just could not find the back of the net, could we? Literally, it was like an onslaught for the whole game, and then they got a last-minute equaliser.
That was and obviously it was never a penalty as well. So
yeah.
That was the reality, unfortunately, with that game. They got very, very lucky in that game. I think that everyone knows they did.
Mm-hmm.
But it's going to be a different game this time round. They're going to be much more on the front foot. I'm sure they're going to attack us. It could suit us in one way if they get too overexcited and we can expose them. But I feel like they're going to be physically trying to dominate us. And we've seen already this season how Tottenham can be bullied. We've seen that. So make no mistake, they're definitely going to look at Tottenham and be licking their lips from what they've seen so far and some of the capitulations we've had.
And this game at St James's Park usually does throw up quite a few goals between Spurs and Newcastle. Newcastle's home form so far this season, they've played 3 games, they've lost 2, drawn 1, but they've scored in every single one of those games, including that loss against West Ham, 4-2. So they are finding the net this season.
They played well in that game.
Yeah, and that's credit to some of the players and St Maximin probably mostly, isn't it?
Yeah, they got unlucky against West Ham because they had a penalty at 2-2, which was never a penalty, which should have been overturned, and they got very unlucky with that one. The Southampton game, they got unlucky in that one as well because they scored in the 90th minute, then conceded in the 90th minute, so they got unlucky in that one as well. And then They drew a home to Leeds. So they were unfortunate. I think they were 1-0 down and got an equaliser, if I remember rightly. So they've had some decent performances so far at home, and now with this new ownership bounce, I don't know if that's a thing, an ownership bounce, but it might be.
Trust me, it's a thing when Tottenham come to town.
Well, when Tottenham come into town, there's my manager went to prison bounce. So there's definitely an ownership bounce. It will. I'm sure they're going to be up for it. They're going to be well up for it.
I have no kind of thinking otherwise. They're going to be up for it. Of course,
they have to be because otherwise, honestly, if these guys, they're going to have that weight on their shoulders now. They know if they're not giving 100% and giving absolutely everything, they're going to be gone.
This goes for every game for the remainder of their Newcastle career, pretty much.
Pretty much. And they know now is actually quite a good opportunity for them in a way, because they're at a club like Newcastle, they're already there. If this is a good opportunity to stake a claim and be part of a project like Man City or something, where they're not going to get a move to a super club. They're not going to get a move to Chelsea or City or whatever. But if they can really knuckle down and show their worth in this kind of team, they can be part of this. They really could, some of them. Some of them won't be, when you look at the likes of Kieran Clark and Manquillo, these guys will be gone regardless. But there are a lot of players there who could, if they really buck up their ideas, could be part of this, and they'll want to show
could be part of it as the squad. I don't know if they like.
That'll be good enough for them, I'm sure.
Yeah, maybe.
That'll be good enough. Of course it would. Of course it would.
But players like Joe Willock, he's going to want to play week in, week out. St. Maximam's going to want to play week in, week out. I get it with the other players. Maybe Callum Wilson, he's going to want to play week in, week out as well. So, look, it remains to be seen what happens with the future of all these players and stuff like that. But with the players that we've got, we should be stamping our authority on this game. We should be stamping our authority. We are better, so much better man for man than them.
Correct.
And it's always the mentality with Tottenham. It's always the mentality. And if we don't go into this game with the right mentality, we are going to fall flat on our faces once again.
Yeah.
And
we don't treat this like a very big game. Like, again, we're playing one of the... honestly, I know we're playing Newcastle, but we have to treat it from minute one like we're playing a top club, because we have to show them respect, because if we don't, they will roll us over. They will roll us over because they're going to outwork us, and they, they're going to be first at every second ball, all that kind of stuff, all those extra inches where teams can, where inferior teams can get the better of you. They're going to be on top of it. I'm sure of it.
Yeah.
So we got to make sure we're on top of our game.
Definitely. And looking at the kind of Newcastle team news coming into this game, we've got Callum Wilson, Dubravka, Woodman, Lascelles, Willock, all a doubt, with Dummett injured, who's definitely out. And I was hearing that John Joe Shelvey was also a doubt as well. But Lee from Newcastle Fans TV has confirmed for me that Wilson, Lascelles and Shelvey are all back.
Well,
they all should all be playing.
And with our play with Lascelles, Romero, Emerson, Sanchez, whether they're likely to play or not remains to be seen. With a quick turnaround, even if they are available to play, whether they're going to be fresh to play as well, is also going to be difficult. So those are going to be probably likely misses for me for Tottenham,
Yeah,
or not starting anyway.